The inside of Calvary Chapel in San Jose is for many a place to find peace. One reason about 700 parishioners say they keep attending even as the church defies the public health order.
It breaks my heart, frankly, because there are a lot of people who need church.
Pastor Mike McClure says that's why he has continued unrestricted indoor services since May, despite 10 county violation notices, as well as $350,000 in fines. The county currently allows places of worship to operate at 25% capacity, or up to 100 people total.
People are hurting. People are really, really hurting. We see it every week. And our job, my job, I'm called to help those people that are hurting.
Flanked shoulder to shoulder by pastors from churches statewide with only one wearing a mask, the group denounced the county's plan to seek a restraining order on indoor services there.
Hey, Tim Frisch with A Frisch Perspective here. That news report was highlighting a story about Calvary Chapel in San Jose, pastored by Mike McClure. And I have a Christian Post article here that says Calvary Chapel in San Jose faces lawsuit, $350,000 fines for indoor services. And this is from November 2nd. So I'm going to take a look at that article, but before I do, if you like Christian nerdy content like this, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and hit that bell notification so that you know when I upload a new video. So let's dig into this. This is not the first church that I've covered dealing with this kind of situation in California. I've talked about various churches such as Grace Community Church, where John MacArthur is pastor, Godspeak Calvary Chapel, where Rob McCoy is pastor, and I've talked about other churches as well. So this is just yet another church facing this kind of situation. And this isn't only in California, but California seems to be where these things are really coming to a head. And we see that here. The article says Pastor Mike McClure of Calvary Chapel in San Jose, who is facing fines of at least $350,000 and now a lawsuit for holding indoor services since May 31st in violation of Governor Gavin Newsom's restrictions on churches during the COVID-19 pandemic, says he's called to preach the gospel. Acknowledging the fines and legal challenge, McClure told his congregation on Sunday, "There are people who are accusing us that we are trying to kill people, that we don't care about people. That's the farthest thing from the truth. About 600 people have been attending services in a space that has the capacity to hold 1,900 people, while the county limits indoor gatherings to 100 people. The church," McClure said, "cares about the whole body." The pastor said he was not forcing anyone to come to church in person. "I don't want to break the law, but I'm called to preach the gospel," he explained to applause from the congregation. He said there would be a restraining order against the church by the following Sunday, and that when congregants come, you may be breaking the court order and they may arrest you or give you a fine or a citation. Last week, the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office and County Council jointly filed an action in Superior Court requesting a court order directing McClure's church to stop ongoing and serious violations of the state and local public health orders. County officials spent months trying to work with church officials to get them to come into compliance voluntarily and issued fines when they refused, the Public Health Department claimed in a statement. After church officials made clear they had no intention of ending their dangerous conduct, the county council and district attorney filed the request for a court order. The Superior Court has scheduled a hearing in the case for Monday, November 2nd, 2020. So apparently that hearing took place yesterday, Monday, but I haven't heard about any results of that yet. Going on, the article says Pastor McClure denied that any conversation took place between his church and the county. "I would love to work with the health department, but they came here, got really upset, and yelled at us and left. They never wanted to talk to me or work with me, and I'd love to. We're trying to help the community," McClure said at a gathering of pastors held Friday to support Calvary Chapel, according to MSN News. Santa Clara County is one of the safest regions in the country because of our public health officers' thoughtful, science-based approach and because our residents have carefully complied with public health requirements, County Counsel James R. Williams said, according to NBC Bay Area. To keep our residents safe and to allow schools, churches, and businesses to reopen and stay open, we need everyone to do their part. We cannot allow any organization in our community to willfully and repeatedly violate these orders, while everyone else, including other churches and religious organizations in the county, are complying. However, Mariah Gundero, the lawyer representing Calvary Chapel, told the gathering on Friday, over the past 5 months, not one person has contracted COVID-19. They have contributed 0 to the infection rate of this county. And I think he's talking about the people in the church there at Calvary Chapel, that none of them have contracted COVID-19. Going on, it says, Pastor Jim Doman from Church United said, people are in crisis up and down the state. The mental health statistics are through the roof, and the government wants closed churches across the state. McClure's congregation was one of more than 1,000 churches across California that decided to regather for indoor services at the end of May. So that article from the Christian Post really brings out both sides here, the county's perspective versus the church's perspective. The county is saying that they tried to work with the church, but Pastor McClure is saying, no, they didn't really try to work with us. So this sounds like a case of, just those two sides of a coin, two sides of a situation, and different perspectives. The county says they went to the church, but the pastor says that when they started to talk to the county, they got really angry. So probably from the county's perspective, the church really isn't following the orders that the county has given. And from the church's perspective, the county isn't really willing to work with them or have any wiggle room for them and make accommodations. And that's really the problem here with both sides. You have one side saying this is about safety. And that was brought out in this article, that the county says, well, we're providing a very safe environment, and the proof of that is that our county is very safe because of the measures that we are taking. Whereas the church is saying, well, we haven't had a spread of COVID here, even though we've been meeting for months. And so there are just two different sides to this, and this is really indicative of what's happening in our country as a whole. You have different perspectives on this. I've talked about this a lot. Some people feel that the situation is really dire and dangerous. Other people feel like, well, it might be serious to some degree, but we have to live our lives, and the government restrictions are onerous, they're overboard. But this also comes back to religious liberty and our freedom to exercise freely in this country, and the right that we're given to do that here. And that's really what these churches in California are talking about. 1,000 churches or more in California are continuing to meet. So this is a movement that has been happening now, and I've been talking about it. It's really interesting to see, though, cases like this, $350,000 in fines. It shows you this is really serious for these churches. So we'll see what happens. I'll continue to talk about this as I hear information, but I wanted to let you know about this situation along with other churches that I've talked about. Also, it is voting day. Today is the presidential election as I record this, and I just wanted to share a tweet that I saw someone post that I thought was really helpful, and this is a tweet that is going to age well regardless of the outcome. It says, the most important thing to remember right now, no matter who is president, Jesus is king. What an encouraging thought. So yes, we should go out if we're American citizens and vote today, but we must always remember, no matter what the results, we know that Jesus is king and reigns over all, and we can trust him. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, but just make sure you keep those comments positive and helpful to discussion. But thank you so much for listening to what I have to say from A Frisch Perspective.